Oh, it just says... It doesn't show a filter.
Or maybe you just have a really smooth face. You know, I was looking at...
That sucks. I wonder if it actually does that, though. It doesn't look... I mean, I'm not going to, like, blur it. That would be weird.
Okay, we can't make me laugh today, apparently.
All right, no blur, no effects. Yeah, it does look a little bit like orange or yellow.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just the... I don't know.
Ow.
Let's move that out of the way. I got a new chair too, so I'm probably sitting a little bit lower. It's probably gonna creak a bunch. So have you been hawking up phlegm and stuff too?
Yeah, like the whole 9 yards. Like what Rachel had multiplied by 40.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rachel has none of the sniffing and sneezing and build up anymore.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'm glad for her.
I don't know that we actually figured out. I mean, she just was taking the allergy pills and stuff and the cold and stuff, so I don't... It might have lasted another day or something once we got back, but I think she was pretty good after that.
Yeah. I can't take the cold medicine because it's got acetaminophen in it, and I'm allergic to it. So, like, I can in really small doses. So I've taken it probably like at night, and that's it. But I can't take it during the day because it ends up giving me hives. So there's that. And then I didn't have cough drops for like the first couple days. So, oh, it was just fucking miserable. Honestly, it was so... I haven't been sick like that in ever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm an extremely healthy individual usually, you know, like I don't get sick. So I think last year I maybe had like a cold for like a day or 2 years ago, but yeah. I was just knocked out on my ass. Like, I went shopping and I started sweating in the aisle to get groceries. And I was like, it's so hot in here. And I was literally just standing still and I'm like sweating.
Oh my gosh. And it didn't hit until you like got back.
Yeah, I think that, well, because you drove like 2 hours, 1.5 hours on Friday, but I drove 11 hours apart from that. So,
yeah, drove a lot.
So I think that my body was like, okay, I'll get you through today.
11 hours? It was a 7-hour trip home, and I drove 2, so that was down to 5.
So much traffic on the way back.
Oh, wow.
So much traffic.
Yeah.
I got home at like 9.
And you left at like 5:30?
No, wait, I got home at like 8. I don't know, let me see. I don't know how long I drove a long time.
It was probably like at least 8 hours, probably. Ooh, I'm not a fan of that. What's up with that? I don't think it pinned. Did it not pin my notes, though?
I got home at 7:30.
Okay.
My mom friend requested Rachel on Facebook.
There we go.
And she texted me and she's like, "Is this your mom?" And I was like, "Why do moms do this? Why?"
Oh, Rachel said that.
Yeah, well, I said that. I was like, "Why do moms like request our friends that they've never met before? Like, why?"
That's funny. Because she saw all the pictures from the trip. Is that what it was?
My mom is like the equivalent to Deej as far as social media is concerned.
What does that mean? Where she's mostly a consumer of the photos and such?
No, she just like she'll like find people and be like, "Hi." Like, you know my daughter. Like, I'm gonna be your friend now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird.
That's totally Deej. She will but
she'll
Deej
do that with other potters too.
Yeah, she does it in a much better way than my mom does. My mom doesn't really talk to you. She just like friend requests you, but she doesn't say anything.
I feel like my mom does that on Instagram, but it's like it's not as intrusive to follow people on Instagram. But she will like comment on people's stuff and like
totally
message them when she looks at stories and stuff.
Sweet, so it's like okay.
I almost wonder if she does that to like get into my world a little bit more.
I think she just enjoys being here. You know.
Yeah.
I think she enjoys that we love her, and that the pottery world loves her. You know.
Yeah.
She loves to be loved.
Yep.
Okay, are we doing questions?
Are we?
Yes. Should we do a listener question at the beginning, and then we can talk about the past 2 years?
The past 2 years.
When did we officially start?
Are you talking about the first episode release?
Yeah.
As the official start?
Let's see.
Let's see what we got.
I'm looking. August 22nd, 2019.
I don't think I set that up right. Hot corners. There we go. There we go. Okay. You said August 27th?
22nd.
22nd. Okay.
10 days.
Wow. Well, this one will come out just before that, so.
Just right before that.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, let's do a short listener question.
I'm gonna add another account here.
Oh, I like that. The one from Liz Cohen. How do you feel about having unglazed clay for parts of pottery that comes in contact with food?
Yeah, we just got that recently, actually.
I think we should do that one.
Okay.
Do you want me to move it?
Yeah, that's fine. I was trying to get my.
I don't know what you usually do.
Yeah, if you want to move it to the top, I mean, I do that sometimes.
Oops.
Oh, I don't want that sound though. Can you still hear? I can still hear you. Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to make sure. I thought I had it on Do Not Disturb though. Oh, there we go. I was thrown off when I heard the ping. All right. Liz Cohen.
We can talk about our trip.
Yep. The trip. We'll answer that one. Did we have anything good from the survey?
I don't know.
Let's see. Some of the I was just looking at is there something that bugs you or annoys you about the podcast? Please don't eat or drink during the podcast. For real, though.
For real, though. We should say that one. And then I'll be like, you know what? You try to do a podcast for 2.5 hours without drinking. And then we can talk about it.
Becca sounds tired and bored. Uses a lazy voice as though totally disinterested. Ryan carries the bulk of the chat and is much more into it.
That's not true. Read that one. Read that one.
These were from like 7 months ago.
I know. We should read it.
When a topic of discussion ends and there's not much organization for what happens next in the episode. Most of the time it's still enjoyable and funny, but sometimes it feels a bit dead or empty space being taken up. When Becca yawns, I mean, kind of funny, but still annoying. That's funny. Ooh, this one's kind of... Oh my gosh, I don't even know if I saw this. Sometimes I worry that you're not okay. I love the roller coaster ride, but I'm worried it doesn't have a happy ending. I need to know that Ryan is getting out of the house and interacting with people, and that Becca is taking care of herself mentally.
Oh, I appreciate the thought, but we're fine. Let's start.
All right, which one?
I don't care.
Could be because I'm old school, but I find talking about how much money you made at shows makes me cringe. As a trained artist and full-time potter, I don't really see the benefit of knowing how much others make at a show or online. It's a little tasteless.
I disagree 100%. You are old school. It is not tasteless. It's helpful.
Yeah.
It's only tasteless when you're jealous. I can't wait until you put this one up on the
Wait, are you already recording it?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my gosh. I didn't realize that.
It's not tasteless.
All right, so you have the...
Just read that one and I'll respond to it just like I just did.
I feel like it's a dagger.
It's a dagger.
The thing is, most of these we can just laugh off. Like we get the nugget of truth in some of them, but some of it's like funny. Most of it's funny. I mean, I'm not really offended by anything for the most part.
I'm not offended by anything either.
So I've got
do shows.
I got a thick skin.
And you do better than half the people. Like, you do better than fucking professional artists anyway, it shows. Like, you should be proud as shit of your showingness. I'm proud as shit of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I need to change my... How do you... Can I quickly add the seconds on here for the clock? I don't have the seconds showing.
Oh, yeah, you go up to the clock and then open date and time preferences.
Trying to right click on it, but it's just opening the notification center. All right, let's go to system preferences here.
Wait, right, you can control click? Is right click as well?
Well, I'm just right clicking. I set that up on my mouse.
But
did you know you could do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just right click it. All right, this is probably in general. No, here, let's just look it up.
It's under date and time.
There we go. Okay. The thing is, I don't see
What don't you see? Share your computer.
I don't see the... now I'm trying to find the share. Share screen. Can you see it? Yeah?
I can see your screen.
Yeah, so I can't... When I click up here, it shows me that.
There's nothing up there.
Hmm?
It doesn't have anything.
Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, I can see the time in here, but it's not showing me, though.
Oh, maybe I'm not seeing your screen. I'm like not... There's nothing on your screen except for the screensaver.
Okay, hang on. It's because I wasn't sharing it yet. Okay, can you see it now?
Oh, okay. Where are you?
So I was... Obviously, I could see it in here, but it doesn't show...
Go back. Go back. Go back. Go back.
Go
back. Back.
Back?
Okay. Go down to date and time. Yeah.
Because I was trying to click up here, but all it shows is the notifications. Normally, you could just right-click up here, and it'll show you, like...
Yeah, it's under clock.
Maybe there's a...
Go under search
Advanced.
clock.
Advanced, here we go. Maybe it's in here. Here we go. Medium. Medium.
Okay.
Let's see if that does anything. I don't see anything change up here.
Oh, it didn't change.
Come on.
Click the thingy to make changes. Yeah. Don't do... Yeah, do set date and time. Go back.
There's nothing on there, though.
Click the set date and time automatically off.
It's not changing anything up here. I don't know. I can just keep this open for a second for us to start.
Okay. That's weird. I don't like that.
I don't know. I'll look it up. All right. Stop sharing.
Okay. Quit sharing. Okay, cool.
All right. So is yours like right now it just hit 15 seconds after? Is that? Yeah. Okay. All right. So you want to start at
30?
30? Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Ooh, I didn't test it. I hope it'll be good. I should test it. Let me test it.
Yeah, test it.
Test. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Sounds good. It's so crazy not having all the background. All right. Do you want to start at 10 after? 10 seconds after?
Yeah.
10 after 10.
10 after 10. Hey. Hello.
Right. Hey, Becca.
We're live.
We are. Happy Thursday. This is not common for us.
No, because I got very, very, very sick after we went on our road trip, and
yeah, did you sound worse the last couple days?
Oh my god, I sounded terrible yesterday.
It's still got some nasally sounding now.
I got some nasally sound, and if I laugh, I cough because I can't laugh, and yeah, it was not COVID. I got a COVID test. I didn't think it was COVID ever, though. So
yeah, it's one of those precautions where you're like out and about. Well, you're probably not going out and about that much, but if you are out and about, people see you all like having issues, and they're like, you just be like, okay, it's not COVID. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry, it's not COVID. But it's like also what I'm proud of it, like what I, I think that, I don't know, in the past, if I'd gotten this sick, I probably would have been like, I can go to work, I can go to work. Maybe. I got really sick. But, like in the past, I wouldn't think even twice about going into work and like wearing a mask or whatever. And now I'm like, I'm not fucking going into work. I'm not spreading this. Like,
Yeah, it's
so
more about
if
the
anything,
spreading of it than
yeah.
saying like, oh, I can fight through it.
Yeah. Like, if anything COVID has taught us, it's, well, and that we should have done this before too, but like, when you get sick, stay the fuck home. Just stay home. Like, really.
Yeah,
That,
what are they missing? And
yeah.
I'm one to kind of like push on if I'm feeling a little bit off, because normally I
Yeah.
can just push through it, and I'm not really that sick often. It's
Yeah.
very rare, so I'll just usually push through it.
But
But
also, you
when
don't
you've
go into
been pretty
work.
sick, so yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Like, I would have to go in, and like, originally I was going to go in at night, you know, when everybody had left and go in at night so that I didn't, infect anybody. And I knew that it was just cold because I actually got it from Rachel, probably.
Yeah, she was having some nasally sinus
Yeah.
issues for the last probably half of the week.
Yeah. And then I got it and I got fucking kicked on my ass. It was like,
Can't be passing those tiki drinks around, Becca.
yeah, no passing those tiki drinks. Yeah, so, but, I guess one good thing is that I didn't get COVID from that free beer that I got at that bar.
Yeah, I mean, you could have got a cold from that beer. You don't know.
I could have, you never know.
It was just prolonged.
Yeah, some
Don't you?
guy left a beer and he had drank one drink out of it while we were on vacation, and the bartender was like, "What should I do with this?" And I was like, "I'll take it." And this drunk guy next to me was like, "Oh fuck yeah! If there's free beer, I'm fucking drinking it."
He's like, I drink
And
the shit out of that
I
beer.
drink the shit out of that beer. And I like wiped it off with my shirt and then drank the rest of it. I was like, "Sweet, free beer." Too bad it was like a Miller Lite.
It was a Budweiser.
It was a Budweiser. That's right. It was a Budweiser. I mean, that's better than a Bud Light, but
My dad likes Budweiser.
I like Budweiser. It's like a PBR. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we also got a happy hour drink, so your two drinks cost $3, which was pretty great, honestly.
Yes. Yeah, that was great. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm recording this on my new computer, so that's pretty exciting. Hopefully, for those listening out there will be no background fan noises, which was
Yes, hopefully.
yeah. Got the new computer. This is my first time actually like using it, besides like just getting it set up and installing a couple browser and applications. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Pretty excited about that. I'm back into the studio this week. I'm kind of like, I know I gotta hit the ground running and like get back to some projects and stuff.
Yeah.
And I got a list of commissions or like wholesale things that I'm doing, mostly like shot glass orders and stuff like that. But it's like, okay, I feel like I need to do certain things, but where do I start? And I was
Yeah.
having some of
I
that
hate
this week.
that.
But
Yeah.
then you're like, you feel overwhelmed with all the things you got to do, but it's like, but really the shot glasses are the main important thing, and they're all like ready to be bisque fired. So I kind of need to bisque fire things, but I should probably be throwing some things to get ahead of the game.
Yeah.
And I had the show on Saturday.
How'd that go?
It was kind of hot, so we got a good amount of crowd there the first couple hours, like 2 3 hours. It was from
Yeah.
10 to 3, so the first half of the day was good, and then the second half was like getting pretty hot. So it was kind of a meh crowd in total, but I actually sold more than I thought. I think it was about $900 or so. So
Nice.
It was good.
Nice.
It was worth the
You
trip.
probably were really tired.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have known, obviously, but I don't know. I feel like the length of the vacation was good. I don't know that I would have wanted to be there to be out another couple days
Yeah.
and get back on like Saturday or Sunday because we got back on Friday, so it was nice to have like I did the show Saturday, but I had the rest of the day
Yeah.
and then I had all day Sunday to kind of like get back into it. So it was nice to have a couple days
I
to get
really
back.
liked getting back on Friday. I agree. If I hadn't been sick, it would have been perfect. But yeah, uh, definitely by like Friday, I was like, I'm ready to be home. Ready.
Yeah. Because we
Yeah.
left on
Yeah.
Friday morning, and then we got back Friday at like 5 p.m. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good length of time. But yeah, other than that, I'm just kind of making stuff in the studio, throwing a few things, trying to get a nice dent in the damp boxes to get some mugs finished and make some progress there. I get into a groove of like making things, and then I fill damp boxes up, and then I'm like, I want to keep throwing, but I gotta like get the damp boxes empty, which is not as fun. Putting
Yeah.
handles on things before I can get to throwing some new things. So
Oh, I have something exciting.
what's that?
My kiln is en route.
Ooh, nice. Do you actually have like a tracking number and stuff so you can see where it's going?
I think that Rebecca does. So my kiln is coming with 4 other kilns that are Rebecca's. So, you know,
We're gonna have
but
to
we
like
ordered them in
celebrate.
January. It's been 8 months.
Oh my gosh.
8 fucking months. So I'm very excited. And then also, as you know, I'm actually moving to, my studio mate Dusty is moving. And so I found another studio within my studio that's it's half the size of the current studio we're in.
Yeah.
And it's the same price. So it's $10 more. So for my portion, because like right now I
Yeah,
pay
yeah.
450 because it's 900, and this new studio is 460. So I'm really excited about it. And it has a beefy electrical system, so I could just hook up the kiln and everything will be great. So
Nice.
I'm really excited about that.
Because you were worried about the kiln hookup and what size kiln you can
Yeah,
get and stuff like that when you were
yeah.
getting that one.
Yeah, and it's a
Wow.
bummer because like had I had this personal studio that I'm gonna have hopefully, I probably would have gotten a 10 cubic foot kiln, just because I had shelves that would work in it. But it's okay. A seven is so much easier to maneuver and it's a lot easier to fill up. So I'm still happy with the choice that I made. But
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Would you feel like you're pushing yourself too much if you had a 10 cubic foot to fill it? Or are you in the boat of like, okay, it could be like half full and I'm fine with it?
I'm 100% okay with firing a kiln half full, just because new kilns nowadays are so cost effective. Um, it's never gonna be. I'm never
Yeah.
gonna be wasting money, you know,
Yeah.
on
I
a
would
half
I
full
would
kiln.
be pushed to fill it.
Yeah, I mean, like just the brand new ones, they cost like $10 to fire it maybe, and if I've got 10 pieces in there, I'm gonna pay for that, you know. So, but
Not
yeah,
that you're gonna fire it with only 10 pieces, but
no,
you're gonna have more
obviously
than
not.
that, but
Yeah, but
um
like I'm not gonna be pushing to get it completely full, you know.
yeah, you're not gonna
Um,
make unnecessary number of pieces just to fill it.
right. Yeah. So I'm excited about that, and I work better in my own space. Um, you
Yeah.
know.
It was a nice space that you were in because it was nice and big, but I think you kind of like the coziness of
I do like smaller spaces. This one's even I there was a 300 square foot one that I was like, "Ooh, but there's no electrical." So this one's a little bit bigger than even I need, but a friend is going to put her wheel in there and she just needs a space to throw every now and then, so I'm just going to let her do that and then um but it'll mostly 100 like for me what's important is that I'm in control of my firings and you know, those type of situations. So, yeah,
nice. And
I don't.
so you said the kiln is en route. Does that mean it's like it's out of Canada or
I
it
don't
just
know.
left the facility?
I think it
Because
left
it's
on
got to
Tuesday.
Okay, because it's got to come across from Canada, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if that process is going to take some time to get across the border.
Yeah, who knows? So, yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, that will be a nice celebration when all those come in.
Yes. Oh,
Are you going to be able to have it yours dropped off, or are you going to have all of them are going to be dropped at Rebecca's, I'm guessing, and then you're going to have to transport it?
Yeah, I think we'll probably have to put it in Chris's truck. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, that's small potatoes compared to everything you had to figure out the last 8 months. So
yeah, if it's in a box, I'm fine, right? Like if it's in a fucking box, I'm fine with
I'll
that.
figure it out.
Yeah. But like,
Nice.
I hate buying a new kiln. Like I bought a new kiln in November of 2018, and that was the 10 cubic foot K 1227, but it was the cone 8 one, and it didn't fit in my van. The box didn't fit in my van because my van had like a weird layout at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to disassemble the kiln to put it into my van.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, so fucking annoying. So
yeah, because you're not putting that on its side.
Right. Well, yeah, and you have to like disassemble an entire kiln just to put it in your van, and it's brand spanking new, and you're like, ugh, like,
Yeah.
because
You're
they
like, I
ship
only
them.
want to move this into its long time spot.
Yeah, and they ship them assembled, so you don't have to touch it, and it's like that would have been nice, but
Right.
whatever.
And it sounds like are you going to be in your new space by the time the kiln gets there, you think?
No, but I think that RJ will let me put it in there.
Okay, that's
So,
good. Yeah,
because
ideally you don't want to have to move.
yeah,
You and moving. Can't get away from it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that he's so freaking rad. Like the landlord at the studio space is just so nice. Yeah, because Dusty's actually leaving, and then he's paying the last month, and the lease runs out in December. So he's leaving at the end of this month, I think. And so RJ was like, "You can just do it at the end of that month. That's fine." Like he said, I could just move at the end of the um the December lease or what, I don't know. But anyway, moving on. Also, I got a cat. Another cat.
Yeah, is that like official or is that just like you're feeling it out?
It's medium official.
Medium official. Is it like if somebody doesn't pick it up official?
Yeah. So like if so the cat showed up at my friend's house a couple of days ago, I think, and has just been like chilling out. She's super friendly. She's just like a love bug of a cat.
Is she like a marble or autumn friendly? Like an autumn friendly?
Like more friendly.
More friendly than autumn?
Yes.
Wow. And probably less chatty too.
Probably. Well, she doesn't know how to meow, so I think something traumatic happened to her.
Oh.
Because that's what happened to Carl. And like when they don't know how to meow, they're like.
Oh, I kind of heard that in your story. Okay.
Yeah, that's what they do when they meow. Is that, or I don't know. This is me assuming this because I know so much about cats. But yeah, I don't think she really knows how to meow. And so anyway, Sarah took her to the vet, and I told her yesterday, I was like, I should probably just take that cat. Lloyd needs a friend, and the cat needs a home, and
Yeah.
she's already friendly. I don't have to deal with like a fucking asshole cat.
I'm sure she won't bite through the blankets when I stay over there, which is good.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. That's just because he likes you.
He likes me. He fucking draws blood. I don't know if that's like.
No, he just doesn't know that your feet are under the blanket.
I get it. I get it.
Anyway, so, they took her. She took her to the vet, and she is chipped. But they called the who the chip belongs to, and they didn't answer. So, I guess the chip company calls like once an hour to leave a message. And so if they don't call back, then she's mine. And Lloyd is not having it. He is. No. No. Lloyd has this thing called what is it? It's a redirected aggression. It's an actual thing that cats have. So and I've talked about this before. Basically, he smells another cat and he gets afraid and he starts hissing, and then he redirects his aggression. He redirects his aggression towards me or any human. And so it's been a lot today of me going into my bedroom, like sitting with the new cat, coming out, him hissing at me, then smelling me, and then hissing at me again, and then like chilling out. He doesn't know that he's doing it. He's like, it's like a demon possesses him. And like immediately after, he's like, meow, meow. Like
it's like a sudden like sniff of something.
Yeah.
And then it's like a drug that just like gets right to him, and then he's like freaks
It's
out for like 10 seconds.
exactly.
And then he's
like he'll hiss, and he doesn't even hiss at me. He just hisses in a general direction. And then, so we'll see how he does with the next couple of weeks.
I wonder how it's going to be when you start leaving. Obviously, you'll have them in separate rooms until they're comfortable.
Oh, yeah. Like, he's not going to meet her until he stops hissing at me when I leave the room.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I'm guessing Lloyd is much larger than she is, correct?
So much bigger. She is so little. She's like tiny. She's like Autumn little. She's little.
But she's not a kitten.
No, I don't think
so. Like 5 or 6 months or something like that.
Something like that. And she's gray with a little black nose. She's so cute.
She looks really cute.
I'm gonna name her Babs.
Why Babs?
Because I like that it's short for Barbara. And if all my cat names have to be, for men, are old man names, all of the female cats have to be old lady names.
Well, I've got Barbara Ann over here, so that's what I call Marvel.
Oh yeah. Yes, you do. Yeah. So I want to call her Babs. And doesn't Babs and Lloyd just sound great?
They sound like an old married couple.
It's great. I love it.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, moving on. So that was the news of the day.
Nice. All right, what are we moving on to?
Oh, yes.
Are we doing a listener question? Are we talking about our trip? Or do you want to just lay down like what the episode people can expect today?
Sure.
I don't know.
Well, if you don't know, if you haven't been with us since the very beginning, this is in 10 days, we will have our 2nd year anniversary of Wheel Talk Podcast. So on August 22nd, 2019 was when we started. That was our first episode. And so I thought that it would be fun for us to kind of like recap some stuff and say what we've enjoyed, say what we're looking forward to, and just like a fun, lively episode because I'm sick and I don't really have the capacity to think about things. And we just went on a trip, so we're both kind of like out of it, I guess. But yeah. And guess what, Ryan? I made questions.
You made questions?
I wrote down questions in a note.
Oh my gosh, you came prepared. You mentioned this to me like an hour and a half ago, and I was like, that sounds like a good idea. Yeah, let's do that. And I started thinking about things that I wanted to bring up that I could remember from the past year, and things that I liked and things that I didn't like, or changes in myself or what the podcast has helped me with and stuff like that. So I didn't write them down, but I was thinking about them. So it's in my mind a little bit, but
I only got 4, but I at least tried.
You did try.
4 questions. I was like, I'm going to do this so that Ryan thinks that I'm prepared.
You're more prepared than I am.
Yeah, so that was my surprise for you.
That's a good surprise. We'll see what questions you got, and then we'll judge them after that.
Okay. Okay, but we have a short listener question, and then we have Ryan picked out something from the survey.
Yeah. So what's the question?
Okay. This is from Liz Cohen Ceramics. Also, Liz, I just want to say how lovely your gallery exhibit was in that little coffee shop that you did. I don't know. Did you see it, Ryan?
I saw it. It looked awesome. I was
It
like,
looked fantastic.
is that? I was like, that doesn't look like a short-term gallery thing. That looks like she helped friends of hers or somebody that she knows, like, basically build out their space of making it look really
I
nice.
hope they leave the paintings because they look fantastic, like how you painted it. Anyway, a lot of work that I would have never done. So kudos to you.
That thing looks super professional.
Yeah.
She did like the paper grid of where things go on the wall, and I'm like, man, that's fucking genius.
Mm-hmm. It is. Yeah. Okay, so how do you guys feel about having unglazed clay for parts of pottery that come in contact with food? If the clay is vitrified, is that okay? Question mark. I see some people with unglazed sections on food surfaces and think, surely that's not really food safe, not to mention how unpleasant it would be to run a utensil across that surface. I'm curious to see your opinion on this.
Yeah, I think the first thing is the clay vitrification. There was another potter recently in the last week that had some stories about like some pieces that came out. They crawled a little bit on the inside of a mug, and she was like, "I'm not really sure if I can sell these or not, or if they're seconds because of the glaze defect, but are they like food safe or not?" So I told her to do the absorption test. I mean, that's gonna test your vitrification of your clay.
Yeah.
I would say like it's fine if it's like minimal. I would be iffy about it if like the whole inside of a mug is unglazed and you're just going off the vitrification of the whole piece. But I mean, I would be wary about what liquids I put in there. I mean, the vitrification is the main thing. I don't know. Are there specific pieces that you can think of that like you would definitely not do it for? Because I see a lot of mugs that are like unglazed lips, and I think that's perfectly fine. Like that's not a big deal.
Right.
Like East Fork, I mean, their lips of their pots are
Aren't glazed.
unglazed,
Yeah.
and a lot of other people do that. I mean, insides of mugs and stuff, I'd be iffy about, but it's still like very vitrified. Then I'm less concerned about it. Like, would I use it? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So I actually have a cup that is just clay, except for the rim is a little bit of glaze. And it's a clay that fires to cone 3, I believe. And the guy that sells it, he's in Port Townsend, Washington. And he sells them without, he basically claims that the clay has enough iron content in it that it makes whatever drink you put in it taste better. So
taste better?
Yeah, because of the iron that it's depositing into the drink. I don't know.
That doesn't sound like a good thing, but I don't know.
No, iron is good for you. Okay. But I personally have zero issue with anything that's unglazed with food on top of it. I can't speak to the scientific, facts of if it being good or not. Like, the
does it matter the clay body, you think?
A piece that is fully unglazed and has a good vitrification will still absorb liquids a little bit. That's just the fact of the matter. There is absorption into clay regardless of vitrification or not, because
even at its best state, it's going to be at least like 1% vitrification, or half a percent if it's
1 to 2% vitrification. So there will be absorption, but also societies centuries and centuries old have been eating off of clay that hasn't been glazed, and they're fine. I think that it's one of those things that people freak out about a little bit, and it's not needed. I have a plate from Tim Ceramics that's not glazed, but it does have a coating on it, and it's supposed to help the food safeness. I think I was not supposed to say what it was, but it's a known product. And I have a cup that has like a coating on it too that makes it like more food safe, but I don't think that's necessary. I don't is
that more just a, is that, do they use that because it's more for like liability thing to like give them extra
Probably.
safety or extra
Yeah.
confidence?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think I asked Rebecca once if it, like, if you had a plate that didn't have any glaze on it, if it was safe, and she was like, well, I mean, it's still going to absorb something. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I personally have no issue with it. You could hand me a cup
Yeah,
that
I
doesn't
think it
have
depends on what
utensil
you're
in it.
eating off of it, or if you're like
Yeah.
drinking something out of it, because like you said, it's gonna absorb the liquid. But personally, I'm not worried about things from the clay leaching out into the liquid
No.
unless it's like acidic or something. Like unless you have a bowl that's like completely unglazed and it's like a curry or something that is like
Yeah.
strong and acidic that might have more risk to it. But if it's just like soup, I mean, like, I'm not really gonna buy a bowl that's just plain unglazed.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say some like wood fired stuff is not glazed, but it's like vitrified enough and it's got the ash and
Yeah.
the flashing and stuff that like seals it to a point that, you know, they don't have glaze on them.
Yeah. Well, and also that bakeware. Bakeware doesn't have glaze on it.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, if we're talking about it from a use standpoint, how do you feel about unglazed parts for pottery that come in contact with food? I'm not scared to use it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have one mug that's unglazed and I use it every single day of my life. That is like, you know, but would it matter if it was like a speckled clay or a certain clay body? Like if it was brown bear and it was completely unglazed, would that differ your decision making versus like a white stoneware that's
No.
very clean white clay versus like brown clay that has other colorants to it that might be more iffy or
No.
questionable? No.
No, but you're talking to somebody who's eaten a pickle off the floor. So, I mean, I
I gotta keep you from laughing too much.
um yeah, I mean, like, I clearly have no issue with like I clearly have no issue with eating stuff off of things.
The thing is, the liquid that you're drinking or whatever, like Coca-Cola is probably more harmful than whatever you're gonna leach out of a pot. Like, I mean, you use that to like clean rust off and shit and like clean toilets out. You don't think that whatever you're drinking is gonna be worse than whatever's gonna come out of the pot? I don't know.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, we used Coke to clean rust off of a knife while we were on vacation. um, yeah, I mean, like Velveeta cheese is probably Velveeta cheese is probably worse than anything that comes out of a clay pot. Um, which I would not eat anyway, but yeah, I mean
I mean, I wouldn't say go out there and start making all pieces that are just unglazed,
yeah.
but
But if somebody handed me a cup with milk in it, I guess I wouldn't drink the milk anyway. If somebody handed me a cup with like water in it that was just clay, I'd fucking drink it. I don't care. Um,
yeah,
so that's my final answer.
yeah.
But as far as safety is concerned, I don't think we can speak to that because we're not scientists. So, um, that's a Google search, maybe a digital fire situation. So,
Yeah, that would be with somebody that's way smarter than us about chemistry and what's actually in the clay that can leach out and what like liquids and materials and foods that can
yeah,
absorb that could potentially risk.
yeah. I'll bet you Link knows the answer to that.
She could.
She probably does. Okay, what is our next thing?
So these are some ideas from the survey that we asked people to fill out. I don't even know how long ago this was. It was probably, let's see, survey. Oh, that's when we last read it. August 4th. That's the last time I read it. Okay. I'm trying to see when these were actually submitted. These came out in February. Wow, it's been that long. February. So we wanted to read a couple of these that we thought were kind of funny. In the question that says, "Is there anything that bugs or annoys you about the podcast we should work on?" The first one was, "Please don't eat or drink during the podcast." Laughing. For real though.
For real though.
And we were like,
for real.
I mean, you're talking for 2 hours. Like we gotta drink something. But at least I do. I'm very hydrated.
Ryan, what I found out on this trip is that he's very hydrated, but he doesn't pee a lot. So,
not, but I'm like, where's my water bottle? Because I'm taking it.
That's right. I think that we've probably done a lot better about being quieter about eating or drinking. I
just muted myself like 8 seconds ago because I drank water, so.
I don't think I've ever eaten. Have I eaten? I've eaten. Yes, that would be me.
Yeah, you snacked on something.
But that was like once. But yeah. I feel like we're doing better at that.
All right, the next one is going to be kind of a low blow at you, but I think you're ready to defend yourself. All right, this one says, "Becca sounds tired and bored. Uses a lazy voice as though totally disinterested. Ryan carries the bulk of the chat and is more into it."
And I call bullshit. I fucking call bullshit. I carry a lot of this. I actually feel like I don't let Ryan talk enough, and that's on me for like.
I feel like I'm the question asker, and I'm the like, let's keep it in the ballpark here, and then I'll let you kind of wander off a little bit with your answers. Like I give you some toss ups, and then you take it.
This is probably the same person that said that I have good advice. That I know that she questions my advice often. This is probably JW17.
All right. Do we want another one here?
Yeah, I'm gonna cough. So you read.
When Becca yawns, I mean, kind of funny, but still annoying.
Well. I'm sorry that I'm a naturally tired individual.
We did switch the times a little bit here and there, so so great. All right, the last one, which I think you thought was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
It could be because I'm old school, but I find talking about how much money you made at a show makes me cringe. As a trained artist and full-time potter, I don't really see the benefit to knowing how much others make at a show or online. It is a little tasteless.
How did I respond, Ryan? What did I say?
I think you said I completely disagree.
I completely disagree. Maybe it's because you're jealous. You think it's tasteless. That's what I said. I think that we are one of very few podcasts or people in general that say how much money we make. And we use that as an educational tool. We do not use it to boast. Clearly, I mean, you use it. And we're not even talking about me. Ryan's the one that makes all the money on the shows because I don't do shows. But there is, I mean, old school or not, I think it's extremely important to use our experiences and our finances as a guide and a just to show people that it can be done.
Yeah, I don't share it in a comparison manner at all, like the boasting thing. I think anybody that's followed my work and what I share and what I'm willing to talk about and answer questions about, that I'm not doing it as a means of saying I did this, how did you sell at your show? Like, I'm just sharing, and I'm mostly sharing it on the podcast because I'm talking with you about it, and I'm excited to share how much I made because we kind of celebrate it together, and you actually don't know how much I sold until we talk about it on the show. So it's kind of like documenting it in real time.
Yeah.
And also kind of looking into some of the analytics of why I did well, what I thought worked well, because I'm kind of riffing on it right after it happened. So I think that's part of it. And the only thing I stopped doing, I would say, is sharing that publicly, like on stories as much.
Yeah.
Because I think as you grow and people like see this image of you of like, oh, you're like a Instagram influencer now or whatever because you have so many followers, that it just seems like it's boastful, and people that don't know you can take it that way, especially if it's like, or if it's like customers, they could be pushed, turned off by it, or other makers that are in different stages of their business and they just see a number and they don't really, it might turn them off. I don't know if that's how it's received. I don't know if that's how it come across, but I share that less actual numbers on my stories nowadays that I might have done in the past.
Right. I agree. I
only share them here because I know the people listening know us. They know about me. They know about what I focus on in my business and what I try to like spend my effort doing. And shows are a big part of that. Wholesale orders are, less a part, but I'll still mention some of that if it comes up or if I'm excited about it or.
Yeah, I definitely think that. I would agree with the sentiment of like sharing it less on stories. I think you used to do that. I don't know if we had a conversation about it or not, but also, we are not making this podcast for our customers. We're making this podcast for our fellow potters and people in business. And so, and we are not in competition with anybody, and I think that that's the key to, that's the biggest thing, is that we're not in competition with anybody. There are plenty of people in this world and in this country to buy pottery, and there's no shortage, so
yeah. Even though we sell on the same medium of like online, I don't feel in direct competition with really anybody.
Yeah.
I think that's more of a famine mentality to feel like you're fighting for buys from your neighbor.
And so also, like, had you not started talking about how much money you're making at shows, I would have thought that, $1,800 at a show, well into your prime of doing pottery, was good. Like, the way that you've progressed with shows and with money and how much you've made has really opened my eyes, at least, to see what the potential is, and also to kind of look at that and compare, time versus cost and all those things that we wouldn't have never talked about had we not said the actual numbers,
Yeah. And if you don't talk about how much did that booth cost, if you're in California and you pay for a booth that's $200 and you're ecstatic about selling $1,500 or $2,000 for the weekend, you think that's amazing, which it could be amazing because you haven't sold that much. But figuring out what's possible and what people are willing to spend, people might have this expectation that, hey, maybe you're in California or you're on the West Coast, there might be more money for people to spend. People make more money, but they also have higher costs of living or whatnot. So do they have additional income to be spending? Are you making more money? Or, are you in the Midwest that maybe it's lower cost of living, but people have more income that they can spend on things like pottery, and I can sell $6,000 at a show.
Yeah.
Which seems crazy to think compared to somebody else in a different location.
Totally. And like the way that we talk about it, I think that that's pretty clear that that's our intention. And so anyway, that's why I disagree. And and also I think that if you do feel like it is not classy, quote unquote, I think it might be a good time to check to see if what you're actually hearing, like what you're actually feeling, is jealousy or not. Because I totally get it. If somebody tells me, something about somebody else's personal life, and I'm like, oh, well, you should not be sharing that. I'm like, okay, but also, was I just not prepared to hear that because I'm not secure enough with what I'm doing in my own life to hear that piece of information, So
yeah,
I mean, there is a classy and not classy way to talk about these things, but I don't feel like we've stepped over that. So
Yeah, I'm sure some of that come across with people that are not from listening to us, but some just seeing other peers that are clay artists or whatever that say they're making that jump to go full time. I'm sure there's
yeah,
definitely some jealousy there of, man, I want to get to that point,
yeah,
and you know, oh man, they're doing so great. What am I doing wrong? But it could just be you're in a different part of
yeah,
your career that it's not healthy for you to compare with
yeah,
somebody that's in a way different part of their career.
yeah,
And they have different personal needs, they have different business needs, they have different motivations and intentions for what they want their business to be like, what they want their day-to-day life to be like. Like, do they want to be working 8 hours a day, or do they want to work 15 hours a day? Are they fine with that? Are they
right,
motivated enough and driven enough to not get burned out from
yeah,
working a certain amount and can keep up with it?
mm-hmm. Yeah. So just remember, we're here to teach and to help, not compete.
Yes.
Moving on. Okay, I have to blow my nose, so I need you to talk about something for a couple minutes.
Do you
Um,
want to do you want to ask one of the questions to get us
yeah,
rolling?
yeah, we'll do
You can
that.
give me something to talk about,
Yes. Okay. Um.
or anything about the trip before we go to the thing.
Oh yeah, tell people where we went on our trip, and I'm gonna blow my nose really quick, and then it'll be super quick.
We'll be back after a word from our sponsors. No,
We're
I'm just
our sponsors.
All right, so we took a we took a road trip. Uh, I had a week off work, and we took a 7-day road trip to a bunch of states that we had not visited before. We
Okay.
started going to Memphis, Tennessee. Then we drove over to Little Rock, Arkansas, back over to Oxford, Mississippi, all the way south to Biloxi, Mississippi. Not Biloxi,
Not
Biloxi.
Biloxi, Biloxi.
And then we drove over to Montgomery, Alabama, up to Atlanta,
Atlanta.
Georgia, and then we came home. We did stop, drove a little bit through Chattanooga on the way home, but um, headed home, and we were gone for 7 days. So pretty much a day in each city, day and a half in each city, and then a couple days in Atlanta. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It was
that was a
fun.
trip. Yeah, it
We
was
didn't kill each
Rachel,
other.
myself, and Becca. So it was a good trip. I think having the three of us was a good dynamic of. I think it's a
Yeah.
good number because once you get to sometimes when you get to four, it's like too many, and it depends on the personalities, right? It's
Yeah.
like too many people planning, and some are like, oh well, I want to do this, or
Yeah.
I want to do that. And you're pretty easygoing of like, I don't really give a shit. Like, let's do this.
Yeah.
Like, I would sleep in my car if you all didn't plan where we're staying in hotels. So Rachel and I
Whatever.
are planners, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, these are the places we're staying. Rachel booked that stuff, and then I'm like, okay, here's where we need to go directionally to get and meet up with the map and stuff of where we're
Yeah.
planning to stay.
I was telling them that I called my mom when I was driving to your house. And I was like, "Yeah, we're going on a trip." And she's like, "Well, where are you going?" And I was like, "I don't know. Um, I didn't plan it." And she's like, "Well, obviously you didn't plan it." And
Obviously, if you don't know where you're going.
and then she was like, "Do they know how you travel?" And I was like, "Yeah, they do. It's fine." Because I do. I sleep. I literally specifically bought my car to sleep in it while traveling. Um, so yeah, no, I do believe that we had a really good pairing, and it also helps that I am not just friends with you, but I am also friends with Rachel in a completely separate aspect. You know,
Yeah.
so like when we were driving, Rachel was up in the front because she hurt her butt, and um,
Yeah, she fell on her tailbone before we left, working on a project at her friend's house
yeah.
with painting or something. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, it was never we never had like a dull moment. Like you were in the back working or sleeping or doing your thing, and then me and Rachel could talk about random shit, you know,
Right.
design shit and stuff. So that's helpful that we all three of us have a different personal relationship with each other. You know, it's not like I'm just friends with you. I am also friends with Rachel. So.
Yeah, and you were able to be like a little mediator sometimes because I could get a little bit annoyed for certain things, or you could be like, let's do this or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm not afraid to be like, Ryan, shut up.
Yeah. But it'll be fine. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm so glad we went. Where was your favorite place that we went?
You know, after you said it, I think I agree. Little Rock, Arkansas was kind of the pleasant surprise that I
Yeah.
think looking at all of them, Little Rock, Arkansas was probably my favorite, followed up by Memphis, I think.
Yeah. Little Rock was such a good surprise. I felt like they had this cute little main street in downtown, and it was very artsy. Everybody was so nice. Um, I bought a painting, like a
You
really
did?
big painting. Um, and but yeah, no, it was a great little town, and yeah, I definitely want to go back. To
Yeah, we were also there in the morning on Sunday, so it was like some
yeah,
things were closed in the
church and
river market
yeah,
area, so there were some limitations of what we could see, but the riverfront there was kind of nice, and then the shopping area that we went to on the day before was nice as well. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I really liked Memphis as well. The downtown in Memphis was great. A very lively art
yeah, we hit
area.
it on a good day on Friday when they had like a shopping Friday night trolley
Yeah, it
night
was like a
that
first
they call it.
Friday or art
So it was pretty
walk.
cool. There were a lot of
Yeah.
people out. There was music out. There was some wine in the different shops, and you could do some night shopping and got some dinner and stuff like that. So that was
Yeah.
pretty good. I think we hit that at the right time with the
Yeah.
over the
I was
weekend.
think I think it was funny because like I don't know if Rachel had ever seen. I don't think you had ever seen it either. Maybe at in Sika, but like when we were in Memphis, that's like when my introversion like really came out full swing. Like we were in one shop and I was like, I have to leave. Like it was like there was just like a lot of people in there and I was like, I'm gonna be outside. I'll be
Yeah, I noticed you said I'll be outside, but I didn't think about it. Now looking back on it, I can kind of see that.
yeah. And I was
But
like,
you didn't do that in the shop that there were the most people, though.
that was a bigger shop.
Okay. Yeah, that was pretty sweet. They had some good furniture. I think
Yeah.
that wasn't the social place, the 5-in-1 social. It was something else. No, that
No,
was
it's
the
like
one in Little Rock, but
yeah, I was like
it was
bored in something. But
yeah, that was
yeah.
a pretty sweet place.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun.
Was
Um,
that your favorite city too? Was Little Rock?
yeah, Little Rock was my favorite for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's move on to my questions.
All right. What
My very
questions you
four
got?
short questions. Okay, what in the last 2 years has been your favorite part about making the podcast?
I think it's just having something that I do on a regular basis that actually challenges me to like it's it's not um it's kind of like some people might like read a book on a regular basis to like kind of test their brain a little bit. I
Yeah.
think this has been a good practice in just getting a habit, building a callus of just like throwing you in something,
Yeah.
thinking critically on the spot of what you actually think about something. It's not like prepared, it's not reading a script, it's just figuring out like in the moment what I think about a certain topic.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably been good for my brain to like do that once a week and actually like talk with somebody that's, about business or clay or whatever that we get to share on a regular basis. I think that's probably I don't even remember the question. It was something about what do you think stood out the most?
What has been your favorite part
Favorite part.
about
Yeah.
making the podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah. It has been really good to do that. I think my favorite part has been the consistency. You know, you're really good about saying no, we have to,
We
like
have to have something deliverable every single Saturday, and we're not
Yeah.
going to miss a Saturday.
Yeah, and I think it's no question that through the last 2 years, we've all, I'm including the whole world, it's been tough. It's been a tough couple of years mentally for a lot of people, and it's been a really good, consistent thing for me, and having you as a friend, and also just like being like, okay, well, what I can count on is that every Wednesday or once a week I get to talk to you, and that's consistent, and that's been really good for my mental health,
Yeah.
just all the way through. And yeah, I mean, because
I feel like weeks can get away from you. Like you get lost in just the grind of whatever you're doing, and it's hard to just step back sometimes and be like, okay, I know I could focus my time and like get more work done in the studio, but committing to this thing that I do every week, and it's
yeah,
documented. Like we have documentation of 2 hours of our lives every week for the past 2 years.
it's
It's like,
crazy.
yeah, the amount of discussion we've had and just like time together that's documented, I think is cool to like have something to look back on and just see the growth
Yeah,
individually, and then just see like the growth of the friendship, and
yeah.
just like what we've shared, that you like, in what context do you have time to actually share things like this? Because it seems like it would be much of an effort to say, hey friend, that even your friends that live down the street, that like, hey, can we get together for 2 hours this week?
Right.
Let's pencil that in. And how
Yeah.
hard is that to do? I mean, there's friends that live 5 minutes from us, and we struggle to get
Yeah.
together with them like once every 3 months. And it's like finding time is hard, but
And then when you do that with your friends, you're always spending so much money. We do it for free. Yeah,
yeah.
no, it's crazy. And also, you know what has been okay, I lied. The My most favorite part has this is your don't cry, Ryan. Has been like no, but seriously, it's been like getting to know you, and getting to know you on such a personal level. Like when we were on our trip, um, I think everybody knows how goofy I am, but not everybody knows how goofy Ryan actually is, and how many 90s R&B and 2000s R&B pop songs he knows. But
We didn't listen to that much.
we
I guess
did,
we did maybe.
but like he's always in the back seat like just singing and stuff. And Rachel was saying how he doesn't do his like high pitched fun voices with anybody except for her and me. And
Yep.
how like I don't know how blessed I feel to be that person that you feel comfortable enough to be goofy with. And like we can have real honest conversations, and the fact that like we respect each other, you know.
Hmm.
um and I think that it's been like obviously our friendship has evolved immensely. I mean, can you imagine that like we know each other so well, and really in actuality we've only spent like maybe 2 weeks time together total
In person.
in person,
Yeah.
you
And
know.
half of that time it was like our trip that we just
Yeah,
took.
well, probably
And then
like 3 to 4 weeks actually total,
yeah, but like
but
and half of that time has probably been since you've lived here
yeah,
this year, and we've
yeah,
known each other for like 5 years.
yeah, exactly, it's crazy, you know. um yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, you made me get a little.
Knew it.
Knew
Right.
it.
Ryan's so sensitive in the best way possible. Um, okay, what do you look forward to in our like future? Like what do you look what are you excited for in podcast future?
I think we're in a spot now that it's getting interesting because I feel like we've hit a lot of the high level topics.
Yeah.
We're in a spot where we're deciding what we want to talk about that's more in depth or that brings a more value to like a very niche problem or ask. I think it's probably going to move forward to more interviews with people that we can have access to that are not maybe aren't even just like friends of ours, but we could have access to people that are interested in talking with us because we have the podcast that we've been doing for a long time and have some value for people. I'm looking forward to seeing like it's hard to like we talk once a week for 2 hours and most of this is just a moment in time that's recorded that we put out and actually understanding the impact on people that listen to it is hard to actually like fathom until I see people in person that have had experiences with it. So I don't know if it's because I'm not in a community studio of people that could be listening to it.
Right.
So I think it'll be interesting to go to stuff like ClayCon West or some of these other like clay conferences to see people that actually know us. They definitely know us way better than we know them. And we're in a spot where it's like they already have this expectation of who we are and what we think about certain topics that, I honestly would not confidently have stances on certain things if I was talking one-on-one with somebody that I didn't know. But because I know you, I know I can share it candidly and like give you my honest opinion about it.
Yeah.
That happens to be recorded and people get to hear that. But like I even experienced when I was at a studio for that throwathon this week, you hear certain things from people that listen to the podcast. They're not talking to you like that, but there are points where I could interject, but I don't do that because I don't want to seem like I'm like have this level of expertise that I can like tell them what's what.
Yeah.
It's like I'm more like a fly on the wall. I'm more introverted in that scene because I want somebody to ask me my opinion.
Right.
I'm not going to impose my opinion on somebody that has their own perspective, and I'm like, hey, if they ask me, I'll give them an honest answer, but like I'm not somebody to interject and talk about these topics unless I'm asked.
We're both like that, actually. I feel like when we were traveling, it was funny because like whenever we'd go to a potter, we don't tell people we're potters, like ever. So if they don't know, we don't interject that information.
You mean when we're visiting a pottery studio or whatever?
Yeah,
we'll just kind of look at it, and then if they ask, I'll be like, yeah, I'm a potter. I make wheel thrown pottery and whatnot.
Right.
And you even mentioned that we had a podcast to that one person. I was like, you know what? I've never like had the thing. I think it's cool that we're both there and we could be like, yeah, we host a podcast, and it doesn't feel like you're like boasting, because sometimes it feels weird saying like I have a podcast to somebody, and you're like, you should listen to me talk because I talk so good and have such good ideas.
I also feel like sometimes, like I feel like this when I tell people that I'm a potter, is that like immediately they're like, oh, whatever. Like I'm like, oh,
why don't you throw production in front of there, or do you feel like you're boasting if you say production potter?
Nobody even knows what a fucking production potter is.
If they're a potter, though, if they're another potter,
I guess. Oh, I do say I'm a production potter.
Okay.
Yeah, I do say that sometimes, but yeah, like especially like I'm like, oh, I do pottery for a living, and they're like, and even if you say for a living, they're like, oh, is this a hobby?
What did I just say?
Like,
for a living. I'm not living that great, but I'm living.
Like, I own a brand new iPhone and I do pottery for a living. I make money doing pottery for a living. Like, it's like hard to spell that out, but also I feel that with the podcast too, when you're like, oh yeah, I have a podcast. And they're like, oh, that's cute. Like, I'm like, no.
The thing is, the range is like some people have their podcast where they just talk about something random and you don't know how many people listen to it.
Yeah.
And then there's some people that are, well known because all they do is host a podcast. or
Right.
not all they do, but like that's what they're known for is hosting a podcast. So
yeah. Yeah, and it's like, oh, that's cute. That's such a cute hobby. I'm like, well, we've been doing it for 2 years. And they're like, oh, okay.
yeah.
Like, more than 10 people listen, okay? More than 10 people listen.
I think just the sake of being able to say we've been doing this for 2 years and we've had a podcast release. I keep saying podcast. I hate doing that. We've had episodes released every single week for the last 2 years. Like that shows a level of discipline and consistency. And hey, they have something they can talk about. Just being able to talk about something for 2 hours.
We're running out
for that long.
Don't let it. We are
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying that shows a level of like discipline and saying like, okay, like they might have something that they like a value here that somebody listens to, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I do want to interject this to everybody who is listening. Is like, I want to see you at ClayCon West. Don't hug us immediately. Please say, can I hug you?
Hello, I am blah, blah, blah. I listen to the podcast.
Yeah. Remember that we don't know you, even though you know us, we don't know you. Keep that in mind. We're fine with hugging, but keep that in mind.
I think you're more prone to that too. I don't know if it's because you're a female or. But.
Well, and I was on Clay Buddies way before you were, or I wasn't on it before you. I just got bigger on Clay Buddies, and so when I was at ClayCon last time, it was and even in Sika, people were like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, "Not
let me hug you."
Yeah, not expecting the involuntary hugs, which I'm totally fine with, honestly, but is just Yeah.
Just say something first. Give me your name first.
Tell us your name. Tell us where you know us from. Don't expect us to know you. Yeah. I'm looking forward to telling my mother in the future.
When do you think that's going to be?
I don't know. My mom.
Are you going to tell her why you haven't told her?
No.
No? You're going to leave that up to interpretation?
I feel like that reason is not even relevant anymore. It's like the original reason why I never told my mom, and I don't know if anybody actually knows this, is because my mom's super, super religious, and I have quite the mouth, as we've learned, and
quite the mouth.
Quite the mouth, and my manners need to be a bit refined. But I never told her because if she'd listened to it, she would be disappointed in me for speaking the way that I speak, even though I'm not upset about the way that I speak, but she would be upset about the way that I speak. And so I never told her for that reason. And then it got to like a year, and then we made it into a joke. And even this week.
So where are we at now?
We're at now. It's just like now we just got to see how long it'll last. Like even this week when I was driving to see you, she was like, "Now who are you going on this trip with?" Because I had called her and I was like, "Oh, by the way, I'm going on a road trip." On my way to the road trip, and she goes, "And who are you going on?" I was like, "My friend Ryan and Rachel." And she was like, "And who are they?" And I was like, and she goes, "Those are the people." Did you have pasta with them one time? And I was like, yes.
Yep, that's how I know them. We made pasta.
We made pasta together. So anyway, she's getting a hang of Instagram, so once she totally figures it out, it'll probably be a no-go from there, but we still got a couple months.
Not a no-go as in like you're not gonna keep going. It's just it'll be found out.
It'll be found. She won't listen, and like I've said many, many times, she's not going to listen to the podcast regardless. So she loves me, but she's not interested in this type of stuff. She's not as dedicated as you, Deidre.
Thanks, Deej.
Thanks, Deej. We love you. But yeah, no, I'm really excited to see. I'm just really excited to see like where it goes, and like like all the people that we talk to and all the people that we can connect with, but
yeah, I think it's nice when we do get people that are getting value out of it, and like they are sharing the podcast with people that say, hey, I heard this and
yeah,
this helped me.
yeah,
And they're not sharing it because it feels a little weird sometimes when I like share something to say, hey, we talked about this on the podcast, and it feels like I'm like marketing it.
right,
But really I'm just like saving myself a bunch of effort because they're asking a very general question. What
yeah.
kind of wheel should I get? And I can just be like, hey, point you to this episode. We talked
This
about it for 2
episode, yeah,
hours. Go listen to it. We talk about
yeah,
food safety. We talk about this or that.
yeah.
We talk about pinholing. Like, go listen. Can't tell you how many times I've referred people to the Josh episode
Oh, I know. Yeah,
where we talk about the glaze defects and firing issues and stuff like that. That it's like, if anything, that's a good documentation for me to just point people in the right direction. But it's cool to have people say, hey, I learned this and they shared this thing and it was really helpful for me, or it was
yeah,
interesting to hear them talk about that. So it's kind of, you're seeing it like spread to others.
yeah,
And I mean, I'm sure there's new people finding this every day that's either they either don't know me or they don't know you, or they know one of us and don't know the other exists,
yeah.
or they hear
How
about the
that's possible,
podcast
I
from
don't know.
somebody and like they find it from somebody else that listened to it. So it's, or
Yeah,
they're just fans of like Leanne and they
yeah,
listen to that episode and they find us and like, hey, maybe they are a potter and they didn't know anything about it. So
yeah. It feels good to contribute, you know, to contribute to the pottery world in a way that we can and that's easy for us and enjoyable for us.
yeah, I know it's not my spot to be a blogger. I am not, that's not how I work. Like,
Me
I'm much
neither.
more of an audio. I'll record a video unedited. If I have a Instagram video, I'm not gonna edit that some bitch.
No,
Like, I'm not doing that. So
no.
this like unedited, just talking, that's my speed. I can dedicate that if I don't have to spend another 2 or 3 hours afterwards doing something with it to make sure it's polished and ready to go. Hey,
Yeah,
that's my
totally.
jam.
Okay. What's the funniest, what's like in your mind, what's the funniest moment that sticks out in your mind of the last 2 years?
From a specific episode?
Or anything.
2 years. I mean,
Or like the funniest
I
and the
mean,
funnest part.
oh, the most exciting part. I mean, the funniest part was probably when you were talking about when we were talking with Josh, and you were like, "Wait, did Jesus make the ponds or something like that?" That was probably which was, I believe, at the end of our best of episode.
Wait, did Jesus make the pond or did man make the pond?
That was probably the funniest like recorded moment, and some of the talks with like you know um with Amanda about the kiln
Oh
things
God,
were pretty great. And that was still early on. Like
that
we
was
that was
early
our
on.
like second interview or first interview or something like that. I think first interview together. Because I talked with John before that. But yeah,
The
those are
marshmallow.
just like in the moment that it's fun that you can get those moments with
Yeah.
somebody that you're comfortable enough with that it's almost like the microphone's not there, or like you don't realize how many people could hear it,
Oh yeah, yeah.
like, but it's honest and like, hey, this is what happened. Like, don't listen to Becca, but like,
For me, the funniest moments are when we say we're live every single time. I think it's funny that we crack ourselves up every single time we start. That's the funniest part to me.
I love when Charles makes an appearance too. That's pretty good.
Hilarious.
I feel like sometimes we just need a moment of silence for Charles to just do his thing.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, the new cat is afraid of Charles, which is so sad.
Mm.
So sad. I opened up the window for her and she was like, and then once Charles went by and the horn went a couple times, she was like, fuck that, I'm in the closet. She went,
Ooh, That's like marble in the vacuum.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Who is your dream guest for the next year?
Do we have to say this, though?
Yeah, because I feel like we've already, we got to manifest it. We've already had your dream guests on, which was Kurt.
All right. My next dream guest, which I've talked to Becca about, is Florian Gadsby.
Oh, yeah, it is, isn't it? I forgot about that.
Yeah. He feels like such a figure that is so well known that it's his like videography and just there's things that he shares so much of it is just his attention to detail with the photography, videography, his consistency, his ability to like actually respond to people with thoughtful responses with the size of his audience on Instagram. And he's only he's younger than us. He's like 28 or 29.
He seems extraordinarily humble as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my dream guest right now.
He's a superior human being.
And I think we could make it happen.
Okay. I'm ready. I don't know how, but I'm ready. I don't think we're going to make it happen. I think that's one of our listeners that's going to have to make it happen.
See, I think the thing is, some of those people that have these audiences, they find time to share when they're asked. I think when it's like genuine and you know that like people are in it for the right reasons, they get reached out to on a daily basis for spam shit of like, hey, grow your Instagram following or do this. We'd love to collaborate. And it's with like, it is somewhat in our interest to want to have him on here because it helps grow the podcast, but also like he's all about sharing a lot of his process. So I feel like sharing an audio format, some people are really open to that. And it seems like his personality would be open to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas, like, some people would think, they wouldn't even have time to reply to messages or answer thoughtfully to comments that are, like, good and good questions.
Yeah.
Like, some people, Kurt says it all the time. Like, some people are like, I can't believe you responded to me.
Right. It's like, well, they're human.
They're people, too, yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
So, we'll see. Who is your dream guest for the next 1 year?
You know what? I don't know if I have like a dream guest. There's two people that I really want on there. One would be Joe from
Joe Bot.
No, I do love Joe Bot, but
Joe from Old Forge Creations.
From Old Forge Creations, and
I think he would totally do it too.
I've talked to him about it, and we have a good camaraderie. And then
I'll talk to him on occasion too.
Yeah,
I think the audio format would be good for him because he's not much about showing his face.
Yeah.
And making it too much about him and making it more about the pots. So I think he would be open to share his process because he blogs and shares all these things anyway. So I think that would be a good fit personally.
Yeah. I'd really like to talk with him. And I know that I think he's concerned about time and also he's very busy and he has a kid and, he's just got a lot going on. And then another one is Amy from Pines and Pottery. Is that
nice?
Did I say it right?
Yeah, Pines and Pottery.
It's I did. I said it right. I know. You know what? Some people's Instagram names, for some reason, to me, they're my cat bit my cord. That motherfucker. Sorry.
The good cat or the new cat or Lloyd or Babs?
Lloyd. Anyway, sorry. So Amy, I talked to her about doing it last week, and I communicate with her frequently. But once she heard the podcast of us reviewing the cups. Then she listened to Leanne's, and then she listened to Heidi's, and she was like, she said I was laughing the whole time through Heidi's. I was like, yeah.
See, I think she'd be a good guest too. I think there's some value
Yeah.
and some things that she could share that would resonate with people from her, family life and balancing it and
Yeah.
the type of work she makes. And she's in a different skill set as well. Like we focus mainly on wheel throwing, and we've talked with a bunch of wheel throwers for the most part.
I know. I
And
really
she
like
does
to
hand
get into
building, and I
hand
think
building.
it's interesting to talk about that
Yeah.
process.
So anyway, I need to send her a link. Maybe she'll be on soon.
Ooh.
That'd
And
be
I
fun.
think I already have a note on here with questions that I had in mind for her that I made back in April.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, no, oh, what I was saying about the Instagram names. Some Instagram names, I see them and I literally cannot pronounce them. Like the words jumble together. I don't know if it's like I have dyslexia or something, but they like jumble together, so it's hard for me to like really
Because you don't know
pick
where to
out.
break them up?
Yeah, I don't know like where to break it because they're all together. So that's why I have a really hard time with some names. And that happens to be one of them. Bowled over ceramics, that was a really hard one for me for a long time too. Ashley's name, but I got it.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So that probably like Amy and Joe. So
Nice.
those are my tops. The Tower of Pizza. They're the tops. They're the Mona Lisa. Um,
Nice.
I don't
I
know if
didn't
you
get
know
that
that.
joke if that was a
That's a
joke.
song. um,
A
yeah.
Brad Paisley song, The Mona Lisa?
No, it's like you're the tops, you're the Tower of Pisa, you're the tops, you're the Mona Lisa. I don't know. It's an old song.
Oh, yeah, I don't know that song. It
It's
sounded
fun.
old the way you sang it.
Yeah. Um, yeah, definitely. It would be interesting. We should do a thing. It'd be interesting to get people's opinions on who they want to hear, who people want to have on the show.
Maybe that's a good Patreon question.
Oh, that is a good Patreon question.
Or just a Instagram stories question.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, I really do. I am excited. Like, it's taken me a while, but I am excited to have more guests on the show and get more, uh, you know, versatility and like doing a lot of different things on the podcast.
Yeah, I think there's only so much that you and I can just riff on
Yeah,
a random
we
week that we don't
yeah,
prepare, and
yeah,
coming up with questions for somebody that we know of, we follow their work, we have somewhat of they're either like an acquaintance or we feel like we have a
yeah,
rapport with them and we understand them to where we would have a good casual conversation and it would be beneficial for people to hear. Um, yeah, I don't think you can expect that we're going to become an interview podcast.
right.
We want to sprinkle it in and make sure it's strategically sprinkled in where it brings value to you all.
Yeah,
And we're prepared enough that we can ask good questions
yeah. I
and
mean,
get some good discussion.
that's definitely been our goal from the very beginning too, because um, I personally, I can speak from my feelings personally. I'm not a huge fan of interview podcasts because I feel like they have the same format over and over again. Um, and I know that we are a little bit off the cuff just enough that when we do interview people, it's different every time. We talk about different things every time. And it's always been very intentional that we interview people that have a specific set of skills so that we can ask questions appropriately to that set of skills.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's kind of like been our whole goal. And I feel like we've completely exceeded in that goal, with the people that we've interviewed.
Yeah, I think choosing who we decide to chat with, it's totally up to us and we can decide what's interesting to me to ask them that
Yeah.
maybe It is a little weird, right? Because we're in a spot where we're asking them questions, and like in a normal day to day, if I just showed up to this person, I might not ask them.
Yeah.
But for the sake of like getting value out of it and prying a little bit to see what we can get that's going to be valuable, that there's some nuggets in there,
Yeah.
is fun to do, and I would feel really pushed to interview somebody like weekly, or like if we had to do an interview every month, like we get to pick and choose,
Yeah.
we decide the standard and what kind of cadence we want to do for it.
Yeah. I also do love that every person that we interview, for some reason, well, not for some reason, but it feels like after we interview them, we have like this great little weird quirky friendship with them afterwards. I love that.
Yeah. It makes me want to like go visit some of these people's studios and like just hang out with them for a weekend or something.
I know. I know. I also love that we are not famous. Like, personally, you know, um, in the clay world, I guess. Like, you know, I'm like a nobody and you're a nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And we interview these people that aren't nobodies, or maybe they are nobodies, but they still have a lot of value to give. And I mean nobody in the sense of like, we're just regular people just living our lives. Um, and not necessarily not thousands upon hundreds of thousands of people in the clay world or in the Instagram world look up to us. Just maybe like 1,000 people, you know?
Yeah.
And um and that's I think that's cool, to that we're not coming in thinking that they should know us. We're going in, knowing them, which is kind of fun.
Yeah. And one other thing that I was just thinking about earlier as well before we met was like I feel like having to chat about topics also kind of humbles me, because sometimes you think you're kicking ass and stuff. Like some people might look at it and be like, "Oh, you have 30,000 followers, like you're kicking ass." But it's
Yeah.
like you get humbled because you get tested on what you know and what you don't know, and your brain is tested, not just what you can photograph and put out for people to consume, and a lot of people like it. Like that's a
Yeah.
different skill set. So I think judging people based on the knowledge that they provide and like what they know about certain things and is way more about, and like their character
Yeah.
is something that I've grown to like appreciate more doing the podcast
Yeah.
than just judging people on the surface level of like how many people follow you, or not that I was like, hey, how many followers do you have? It's like, you know, these are individuals. Like a lot of people don't know them, even though they've
Yeah.
done a good job and have been consistent with growing a following. They're still just a regular person.
Right. Yeah. And it goes the other way too, it's like how many people have we talked to that have 250 followers that are literally kicking ass,
Right.
that are just amazing, and like so much smarter than we will ever be in certain areas, um, and it's just they're just like, we don't care that much about that particular part of our lives,
Yeah.
um,
Which is
yeah,
totally fine. It's like there's different ways
yeah,
to succeed, and there's different ways to grow your business, live your life, do
yeah,
your hobby. That like, hey, we're not all following the same set of notebook, like whatever notes you have of how
right,
this thing's going to progress. Like we're not all following the same guide.
yeah.
So
Yeah, and I mean, like, even with you and me, like, you have 30,000 followers, I have, I don't know, 7. Um, but as far as, we have different expertise levels, I know significantly more about kiln management and firing techniques than you do, and you know
yeah.
significantly more about how to showcase your work and sell and stuff than I do, and um, that bodes very well. I mean, the fact that we do this podcast together and you are 15, 20,000 22,000 more followers than I am, but we are on the same level shows that we, it's not about that necessarily. I just don't fucking care. And you do. And like, that that is shown quite well with our relationship. Clearly.
Yeah, and we can also like disagree on certain things or bicker back and forth, and like we're not holding it against each other.
Yeah.
And
right. Yeah.
signing you off because you disagree with me or you have this stance or you think this about me or whatever. It's like,
yeah.
Hey, I am almost never offended by anything, so it's like I got a thick skin.
Yeah, thank God.
And we can talk candidly, and it's, I think, a benefit of ourselves individually as well as just whoever listens to this that doesn't have to get a filtered version.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of social media, a lot of the Instagram accounts, people are I think some people are very reluctant that they, like, their confidence is, some people have the confidence so built into their surface level, like what people see, and they're reluctant to even like share stories and show their faces and talk because they have to record it 3 and 4 times.
Yes.
Whereas we can talk off the cuff and we're confident in what we're saying because people get the gist of what we're saying. They know us enough, and like we don't give a shit to a point.
Yeah.
That, like, I think you kind of got to have that confidence and, not take everything like.
You'll never get catfished if you listen to us.
Be very be very reluctant and like, oh, it's just not right. Like I can't put that out or something like that.
Yeah. No, that is true, and like the fact that we're able to mess up and stuff is helpful. Hi, Marvel.
Marbs.
Hey, babes. Yeah, that's true. I mean, yes. I think that, I was thinking, like, one of the biggest compliments to me, if somebody says anything to me about the podcast, is when they say, I've listened to other ceramic podcasts and it's not, like, maybe it's not their cup of tea. And then they say, but you guys are just so off the cuff. It's totally different. And sometimes I feel like I don't know how it's totally different, how our podcast is different, but I appreciate that we're doing something different than the norm. So much so that we can reach out to that audience that maybe, is looking for something different. So that's kind of cool. That's like the best compliment for me.
Yeah. Authenticity. Marbs.
Marble.
All right. Was that your last question in there?
Yeah, I only had 4 questions. Did you have anything to add?
I was trying to think of what else I was thinking earlier that, yeah, I think for me, like the Instagram account itself and like why I consistently do it, I think it's cool to just be able to look back on what I've done historically, and the podcast is the same. Like when we're going back and listening to episodes for best of, it's interesting to hear like how I talk about certain things, or the kiln thing of like the back and forth and defending the like kiln decisions, and like some of it's like, oh come on, and then some of it is you can see like the understanding and the learning in the moment. Like, okay, this is where I understood about that topic and learned more about it, and like we're learning while we're talking here, so
yeah,
like I've probably learned way more just from talking to you through the podcast than I would have learned just, you can only do so much when you're just making work.
Right.
And like understanding business things, and like I can share with you questions that come up, and we can actually, talk it out. And I know where you're coming from because I know a little bit of how your brain works on certain things. And then you know how my brain works. So kind of where I'm coming from it.
Yeah.
And we can kind of like, you can answer it with knowing how I work, so that it's like kind of meeting in the middle a little bit, or like how I need to hear it.
You know what I was thinking of just now when you said that? How you always were like, so do you mean like when you're this and this and this and this? And I'm like, no, I don't mean that at all. That happens so much where you're just like, you're like trying to predict what I'm thinking, and I'm like, no.
I like to predict things in general.
I know.
And try to like think ahead and just say, is this how it's gonna go? And then you're like, no, that's not how my brain works.
Yeah. So funny. But yes, in general, yes, you definitely know how I think, and I know how you think. So it does work well that way.
Yeah, just having the history of the episodes is nice to like look back on and just have something documented. Not that I'm just gonna like historically go back and listen to everything and but it's cool to be able to see the growth and like what excited me a year and a half ago and like what excites me now with the business and like what's gonna change in a year from now and how's that gonna progress. I mean, listening back, did you have any feelings about listening back to older episodes when you were in Monroe still? And like in that transition during COVID before you moved, and like, have you had any thoughts about how it's come across differently on the podcast since you've been in Indiana versus Monroe?
I don't know, because I feel like I haven't really listened back all that much, but definitely I think that generally I'm just a lot happier. I don't know that you can hear that on the podcast. Obviously, somebody said that I felt boring all the time. But
that was also answered in February, so you were only in Indiana for like a month or two.
That's true.
The majority of what they're working off of is from Monroe. So
yeah, and also I don't know if I talk about it, but I don't know if a lot of people understand the health issues that I've had over the past couple of years, and the like chronic fatigue and all that stuff that's happened. Generally, I'm a much happier human being right now, and I think that comes through just with how we communicate now as opposed to how we used to communicate. And just mentally I'm a little bit more up. Sorry. Mentally I'm a little bit, higher than lower now, which is good. And happier in my life.
Made me think of the one survey thing that was asking if we're okay.
Oh yeah. Somebody.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah.
It says, sometimes I worry that you're not okay. I love the roller coaster ride, but I'm worried it doesn't have a happy ending. I don't know what the ending of this is, but I need to know that Ryan is getting out of the house and interacting with people, and that Becca is taking care of herself mentally.
I can assure you there is a yes to both of those questions.
And Ryan, some of the like sharing of like, okay, I'm going down to the studio. Okay, I'm in the house working from home. Like some of that is just sharing what's actually going on.
Yeah.
So it's like real and in the moment of this is what actually happened. It's like, how was your day? Good. All right. Good. Yeah. Same thing.
Sweet.
Work. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like I can't leave the house.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I mean, like, we share a lot more about our personal life in the podcast than we do on our Instagrams, but we still leave a lot out, so that is that too. So, but yeah, all is well. I think that, yeah, I'm so proud of us. We're like, we've had a podcast for 2 years. Like, who says that? Who could say that? Like, not a lot of people. I mean, a fair amount of people, but not a lot of people.
Not in this space, at least.
No.
I saw a few pop up through COVID that it's like, hey, we got time at home, let's try this. I don't know that all of them kept going. It's kind of you decide to do it, and then when priorities shift, you kind of table it or put it on the shelf. But I think one thing I was shooting for is when I get into something like this and we built it to this point of having the consistency that I want to keep going with it.
Yeah. And it's been, I think it's been a struggle, but also good for us in the sense of like, we've kept it as low maintenance as possible, as we possibly can, with still having a somewhat quality podcast, as far as editing goes, and like doing the Patreon and stuff like that. We're adding a little bit more to it, but I think we both know that if we add too much, it's going to stress us out to a point that we won't be able to maintain it, and that's not our goal. Like, our goal is to be able to maintain this however low maintenance it is,
Right. Yeah, I think that's going to work long term the best because, we talked about early on, like, hey, are we going to record these and put these on YouTube? And then, like, we started off putting little snippets on the Instagram. It's like, we're two people. We only have so much time. I don't want to be on Instagram for 4 hours a day. I can't physically be on there 4 hours a day. And we have other priorities. So, like, other things take precedent. But we know that consistently we're going to meet at least once a week for 2 hours and put focus into this. And then we're going to spend time weekly getting the podcast ready to be released.
Yeah, and we can promise you that. and that's what we can promise you.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's good that I just think that that's really the goal, and that's what's made us successful, is that when we started we were like, this is our bare minimum that we can do, and that's what we've done. And if you've been along for the ride the whole time, you know that we've gotten better at it. But we thank you for sticking with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how many, like, it's interesting looking at the listener questions and just seeing the number of them. Have you ever scrolled down and just saw, because we keep all the answered ones, have you, like, scrolled down and really looked at how many are in there?
No.
There's like 100 questions or like 150 questions.
Yeah, there's
not to
a
mention
lot.
The Q&A. Like, there's so many questions. I think that in and of itself, like, has benefited a lot of people.
Yeah, I love the community that we've got too. There's like a core group of people that are always interacting and always kind of communicating with us, which is really fun.
Yeah.
Holy shit, do you know what I just figured out?
What?
We're almost to September. We got to get pot swap going.
I just thought about pot swap a second ago and was like, yeah, that's coming.
That's coming. Oh,
when
shit.
You mentioned the core group of people, I'm like, yeah, we need those core group of people for the pot swap.
Yeah, anyway, that's coming.
Look out for that we said October. We said signups were going to be in October.
October, yeah. So we got to figure it out in September. So yay, that should be fun. I feel like pot swap is the thing that pot swap is like.
Pot swap is an afterthought to me. It's like it rushes up on us, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to do pot swap.
Pot swap is like the thing I dread to love. It's like, oh fuck, we got to do that. And then when it happens, it's like, this was so great. And then when after, we're like, fuck, like that was a lot of work.
That was, yeah.
Yeah, it's like so crazy how it's just like, yeah, it's like dreaded, but also it's great, Yeah. It's just a lot of work. But someday we'll get to it where nobody's complaining about it. No, we won't.
No. You're still going to have people that complain, but the number of people complaining is going to be minuscule.
Yeah.
Depending on the number, in relation to the number of people that are actually participating and enjoying it. And
yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting more comfortable with like delegating. I am getting more and more comfortable with that, whether it's business or home things or, marriage things, that it's like, I'm fine with delegating things because if somebody can do it nearly as good as I can do it with full focus, go for it.
I'm so
or
proud
better
of you,
than I can do.
That's taken a while. That's taken a while.
I think I just realized that there's only so many hours in the day and that my like perfectionist mindset is not benefiting me to worry about some things.
Yeah.
That it's like, just do it. I don't fucking care.
I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. Just fucking do it. No, yeah, it's a great moment when you finally come to that realization.
Yeah. And then try not to like feel like they need to do it the way that your brain would work if you were to do it, and feeling like you should have done this or you should have known that. It's more like,
Yeah.
hey, it could be their first time doing this, or they're just learning. They haven't gone through the iterations of that you've gone through.
Yeah.
So they're still figuring it out. So give them some grace.
Grace.
Or they take a different approach and like, hey, if it works, it works.
It works.
And I didn't have to put the effort in. So it's like, hey, awesome.
Sweet. Yeah, totally. I don't really have anything else to say except for I'm proud of us.
Yeah. Thank you all for listening.
Yeah.
We appreciate you all.
Yes,
I appreciate
we do.
you, Becca, a lot.
I appreciate you. Meh. Meh. Tear. Meh.
Single tear.
Single tear. Okay. Cool.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll catch
Yep.
you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Stopped. I can't believe we hit an hour and 41 there.
I know, seriously. Oh. Oh. My ears. Okay.
I need to put some more whatchamacallit on Patreon. Did you see I put the episode? Well, yeah, we get notifications when the new posts go up there. I'm curious how many people are watching them.
Oh, yeah. We're at episode 105.
Is it? I put 105 on the question answered for what's the biggest mistake you made when you ended up being your best success. I think our last episode was 105. Wasn't it?
Review was our last episode.
Hold on. We'll talk. There we go. 105, our favorite cups.
Okay. I'll change.
One we just released.
I'll change mine. Oh, my episodes don't match up with those episodes, which has always been an issue.
Okay.
But now they're going to start.
So wait, when you save yours, do you save it as highest quality? This is my first time saving on this device, so highest quality, 256 kbs, MP3. Yeah. All right. Episode 106. What'd you call this? 2-year anniversary?
2-year review. I have to go to the bathroom really quick. I'll be back.
All right. 2-year podiversary. All right, let's see.
Ugh.
Doc,
Can't wait to be back to normal.
I know, I bet, right? I found the dock menu thing. Menu bar.
Did you get my text?
Here we go. Time with seconds. I got it. Your text that you just sent me?
Yeah. That had the dock menu thingy on it.
Oh, that's actually what I just looked up. Yeah.
Oh.
I just Googled it.
Did you already upload it to Drive?
No, it was still downloading. It's about halfway done.
Okay.
Podcast episodes.
I want to get it downloaded to Drive so that
I don't see. Oh, that is weird. Yeah, I don't have 105. Okay. Yeah, 105 is actually the. I see what you mean.
we changed it. It's 106 now.
Okay, cool. Is that because the best of is not technically captured in here?
No, it's always been one behind.
Oh, okay. All right, looks like it's good. So let's put that one in there. I didn't hear any whirling or anything.
Good.
How does the audio sound out of the computer?
Good.
Yeah. I don't know where the microphone's at, but. Charles.
Charles.
Sir Charles.
Sir Charles.
All right. Yeah, that one's uploading. Yeah, it's to be exciting to have the new computer. Whew. I always think like we're not going to record until midnight, and then we like almost do every single time.
I know. Ugh. Oh my god. My brain. I feel like this last podcast was like super. It wasn't somber, but it was very sincere. Serious.
You mean the one we just recorded?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
In a good way.
I don't think it was somber though.
No, it wasn't somber. It was just like serious.
Yeah. Which I think is fine every now and then, you know.
Oh, good. You already uploaded it?
Yeah. Yep, 2-year review.
We'll see how Lloyd reacts when I go back. See if he's like not even creeped up on the door. He's like, no, I don't want to have anything to do with this bitch. So I honestly don't know if he will be able to warm up to her.
All right. Hey, Becca.
Oh, there we go.
We are interesting because he seems very dominant.
He is. Yeah.
Is she like pretty submissive, or is
Yeah.
she, I mean, she's still young, so.
Yeah, I think she's pretty submissive. So I think it'll be fine, especially since she's a female. It'll be fine. But like honestly, if he didn't have this like weird disassociation thing, I don't think he'd have any issue with her, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah. I had to get a cat that was all fucked up.
I think it'd be interesting having a girl cat and a boy cat, and then the. Well, you said she is pretty like lovey-dovey and stuff. I'm curious if Lloyd's gonna get jealous of that.
Well, if she's super lovey-dovey on him, he'll love it. He will love it.
Oh, okay.
So that's the good part. Like, if she was super standoffish, I don't think that they would work well together.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll just have to see. I mean, and also, you know, the owners could whatever and take her back, but like,
So
I'm
where
not.
did they actually find it?
Sarah's house, like, she just showed up on Sarah's porch like a couple days ago.
Is she in like a residential area? Is she
Yeah,
close
she's
to a lot of people?
like downtown old houses.
Oh, okay.
So,
And you knew it was not an outdoor cat.
no, she thought that she was, but she's so clean and groomed. But she has a respiratory infection, so she's been out for a while if she has a respiratory infection, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But she just showed up on her and her neighbors' porches and wouldn't leave, I guess. So,
Interesting. Because you were already kind of on the fence about whether you wanted to get another cat or not.
yeah, and I'd prefer not get like a little kitten
Yeah,
because
that's a little much.
yeah.
I mean,
So,
it'd be different if you worked from home or something, but you kind of have to. I feel
right.
like you got to be around a lot, you know,
Yeah.
early on.
Yeah. So, and with Lloyd, you never know. I mean, maybe having a little kitten would have been better for him to adapt, but I don't think it would have mattered regardless.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of. We'll see how the. Yeah, we do need to start doing some. Get ready for pot swap.
Oh, how do I send? Okay, so if I want to send Amy the square thing,
Do you have the link for it?
I don't know. Let me.
I have it saved as a bookmark, so I can send it to you if you want.
Yeah, send it to me. Do we need to update it at all? Or is it it's just on certain days, right? It's like two Wednesday and Mondays, right?
I think that. Let me know if that's sent.
Got it.
Okay. It's on Mondays and Wednesdays, yeah.
Okay.
So I went ahead and updated some over the next couple months,
Okay.
so you can do the same if you need to. I basically like it's a reoccurring one, so if you don't delete it, it'll stay, you know. So
Okay, let me find her. Is there anybody else that you want to try and interview that I could send one to?
you're sending it to Amy first, right? Um, I mean, I'd kind of be curious to talk with like Rachel Hall, like Hill Bippy. I haven't really followed her much recently, but um, that would be that'd be interesting. Uh,
Yeah. It might be interesting to talk to Andrew too, since he went to full-time not Potter.
Andrew Lenderman.
Yeah, and he's coming back.
Yeah. How long is he? That might be a good. I feel like that might be a good. How long has he been back so far?
He just started this last week full time.
Okay. Yeah, I wonder if we give him. I feel like we should give him a couple months or something.
Like a couple months. Should I text one to Isaac?
Yeah, that would be good. I think you're gonna probably have. I'll have some questions, but you have a lot more rapport with him. But
Yeah.
I'll definitely have questions for him, so that'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be a good mix.
Isaac and Amy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Andrew in like a month.
Yeah. Need to start looking at need to start looking at St. George stuff too. We'll start looking at that in the next couple months probably.
Yeah.
Figure out if some other people are going.
You go on a road trip.
You want to drive there?
I'm kidding. No.
I don't think so. That's a little too far for me.
Yeah, no. We can't do that. I don't want to do that again.
I'd be like, I'm curious. There's someone here that are local that I'd be interested to see if it's worth trying to talk with them like at their place, like in person. I think that would be kind of interesting to try. Um, like I don't know if it's a see their studio, see kind of how they do things. I don't know if that maybe that's an in the studio kind of option.
Yeah.
Um, and kind of chat with them that way.
It'd be interesting to hear how people liked the one that I did with Val.
Yeah, did you get people that talked directly with you about that? I saw some comments on some of Val's posts about, hey, I saw you, heard you on Wheel Talk kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like overall people really enjoyed it. And I mean like Val was literally the perfect person for that. You know, she's so personable in that way.
Yeah.
But
So did you basically just like were you sitting down and stuff for it, or were you all were working, right?
we were working on stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Because I would feel like I need to like sit down and chat, but maybe it is just out on their back patio or something, but you get a little look around the studio and
Yeah.
something like that. I don't know. It depends on who it is.
Yeah. I also wonder, I'm looking at like our downloads and how many downloads we have on each episode. And I'm wondering if like I feel like we're not progressing. Not that that's a bad thing or anything, but I don't know.
Do you mean like it's not growing enough episode to episode?
I don't know. It's so sporadic, like it's hard to pin down which ones people like the most. Obviously, they like the ones with people like
I think yeah, it might be good to look at like first 30 days
yeah.
of the last 20 episodes and like kind of see which ones jumped a lot.
Yeah.
Like plagiarism versus inspiration has a good number for 30 days.
Yeah.
Like that one is bigger than like our one with Link.
Yeah. Obviously, Alon.
Yeah, Link is really high. And then like which ones are the low ones? The low ones are the short ones are lower.
Yeah.
Um yeah, you almost got to look at more than 20 though.
Yeah.
Sort by most popular. Motivation is a maker. Kurt Hammerly. Leanne. My Instagram questions. My Instagram questions one is the 4th highest.
Crazy.
Glazing. John Schmidt. Tara and Matt. Like, obviously the ones that we interview people are
pricing.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of that's a lot of big name people. Obviously, they're going to get a lot of traction because they can drive a lot more audience to it.
Well, I think also like if we could do more podcasts, like more episodes, like we haven't done an essentials for a home studio. We could do like that was huge. Home studio, kilns, pricing, glazing, like all the main things, we could do a few more of those.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of what the pricing one was about specifically that we got dug into. Episode details.
That was 79.
Challenging topic of pricing. There's no right way to price to a way that works for everybody. Mathematical approach. Supply and demand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think with some of the listener questions that we get, a lot of them can be grouped together and just be on a like we can generalize it to a general topic, but we are answering specific questions
Yeah.
that we hit. I'm curious how how did the art show ones work statistically? Like, are those like I feel like we always have a lot of questions about that.
That was pretty high, 876.
Sort by most popular.
More than Link.
Like art shows, packing, shipping, buying and selling. Yeah, it's interesting to see some of because you can kind of group our talks into like 3 different groups. It's like, okay, there's interview, there's technical, and then probably 4 groups. There's technical, and then there's like business, and then there's like topics that are discussion, like plagiarism versus inspiration. There's ones that kind of fall in there that are more like just a brainstorming kind of exercise. Is the ceramics market too saturated? Like those are ones that are kind of just throwing it out there and kind of thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's cool to see which ones people resonate with. Imagine if we re-recorded like motivation as the maker. Like you remember how bad that was like early on? And it's crazy to see. I mean, obviously some people sort it based on the first episode, so it's gonna have the most, but
yeah.
You know what I haven't looked at in a while? I haven't looked at the reviews in a while. If we had any new ones.
Oh yeah.
625.
Should we have Isaac's wife on the podcast with him?
I don't know her that well. We can.
We don't have to. They kind of do it as a team, but I was just gonna tell him or not. Well, no, they won't be able to do that because they have their 3-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never.
What was I gonna look up?
I was looking up the reviews.
Oh yes, thank you. Bless you.
That was right. I love it. You all are probably open. I've never second guessed sense of scarcity in the pottery world. People are reluctant to share your tips and tricks. You give everyone tools and tips so freely. Thanks. That was from June though. Got some good link responses. Yeah, I don't think there's any new ones necessarily, unless there's some in Canada or Great Britain.
Yeah.
5-4. Yeah, that one's older. I've saved the tabs so I can look back on them easier. Yeah, I think I hit all of them. Yeah, I keep thinking off and on a little bit about what my presentation is going to be for the ClayCon West one. I just need to start like writing it down.
Yeah.
To start putting it together into, I don't know if it's slides or it'll probably be slides and then bullet points and just talk in depth about those specifically.
Uh,
All right. Hey, Becca. All right, so we're started. All right, that's good. Before I killed this GarageBand, I want to make sure it was good.